Hello, in today's demonstration, I will be exploring layers of painted interest using the art of Jean Michel Basquiat for inspiration. Now, there's this odd word, palimpsest, associated with him, which basically is written or drawn layers that are then sort of effaced and obscured with more painted or collaged layers, um, which, if you look at his work, you will see. So that's what I'm going to do. And what you will need, I'm going to do this on a piece of Masonite because the slick surface, I'm going to put gesso on here and move it around to try and efface or obscure some of the painted layers. I'm going to explore all kinds of materials. So I think first I'm just going to begin by making some random marks on this piece of Masonite. And hopefully as I go, we'll continue to see some of them and some of them will disappear. And a lot of his work has graffiti type elements in it. So that's why I'm using the Sharpie. And here I'm using the acrylic Posca pen, which seems to be absorbing and disappearing into the Masonite surface. Then I'm going to go over with gesso, which normally we would use to um, treat our canvas and create some protection, but I'm going to use it in kind of a different way. So I'm going to paint over with my Ratty House brush. First of all, I'm getting some really interesting textural marks going on in there. Now, all of that scribble that I put on there is disappearing. That's okay. I'm going to come back with my silicone paintbrush, and then I can excavate areas to reveal those marks. These are all different ideas. I can go over with a stencil. And apply gesso to the stenciled area to create a raised texture. So I'm not even thinking about composition at this point. I'm just seeing what I can do with gesso, stencil. There's going to be more materials coming in. Okay, I'm going to pull that up. Okay, so with the gesso, I've got some raised patterning there. I can add color to my gesso. I'm just going to directly add this high flow fluid acrylic. I can come in with my sawtooth palette knife and create some interesting textural marks. I can use a barbecue stick to do a similar thing. What else? I can use charcoal pencil. To make marks. When I hit that with the damp brush, that should, either the marks are going to disappear or they'll blend in if I use a thicker vine charcoal or maybe compressed charcoal that would blend into the surface. I can use objects to stamp into the surface, scrape a little bit. I like the silicone brush a lot because this is going to give me some dimensional layers. I'll do a little bit more here. You get some thicker areas and some thinner areas. Again, I can come in with my meat stick. And what I'm thinking is that after this dries, I can do some high flow paint in there. It's going to seep into those areas and stain it. Okay, that's part one. Then we need to let this dry, and I'll go to part two. I've already got a dry one over here, and then I'm going to play with, in this area in particular, I'm going to do some staining with my high flow acrylic. I've got a Payne's gray here, and I'm going to go indigo and see what I get. What I like about this is if you don't like something, you can just layer, 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 push it back. Okay, that's nice. So I just thinned a little bit of this indigo. And I'm going to take a rag and pull some of that paint out. To reveal those flowers below. Okay, I'm going to try some oil pastel. Maybe this will act as a resist. I don't know. More charcoal pencil. Actually, as I rub across the surface there, I'm picking up on that wavy texture below. Come back in with my Posca pen. Sharpie. Okay, and then now back to my wash. I'm going to go Payne's Gray right now. So I'm trying to let this high flow seep into those lines that I drew. See if I can pick those up. That was the softer vine charcoal, which then blends with water and becomes kind of a paint. Okay, now let's see. I want to go over with some thicker paint. I'm going to try and dry brush here to add another layer to those flowers. So I'm employing all these layering techniques while trying to obscure some of the layers below. Okay, again, it's that low 45-degree angle. And when I drag across, yes, it picks up that texture. So this is all, I think, trial and error in a really playful and spontaneous way. To see what kind of effects you can get by obscuring, excavating, and revealing. And I'm getting carried away here, so I think I'm going to end. So this was layers, building up layers of painted interest using the artist Jean Michel Basquiat as a source of inspiration. Enjoy.